If you couldn't work with someone and all they could do is just listen to you talk for 5 or 10 minutes, what is the first advice that comes to mind, or the 2 or 3 main key things that you would want someone to know, if they could know no other, about integrating their experience?
Yeah, so I guess I'll categorize them as 2 things, which is like the inner work or the independent work you can do as an individual, and then the work you can do in community or in connection to other. Individually, my strong encouragement always is make sure you have time carved out for yourself where you're in silent contemplation and mindful reflection, because that is the time where you have no distractions and you are just with your experience and you are just observing and being curious about what's going on for you. For a lot of people, making time for that's stressful to figure out, when am I going to make time for that? But it's essential to check in, to be like, okay, I've had this experience. I know the types of emotions and things that I felt, the types of insights that I gained. Now, how do I feel in a week, in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, in 4 months? What am I experiencing now? Like, taking time, intentional time, to spend time with yourself in silent contemplation and quiet and stillness, so that you can see what's up. Like, how is my body feeling? What's the state of my mind? Writing, recording those things, making sure that you're just giving yourself that space to slow down. It's a hard thing to do in this day and age, right? People are just busy and they don't necessarily do that naturally. It does have to be intentional most of the time, and that's okay. But I would strongly encourage that. You absolutely have to make space for that. Otherwise, you don't have much to draw from in terms of when you're eliminating distractions. And then in community, identify the people who you feel safe with and that you feel will understand on some level what you're going through. People who just create a space for you that's somewhat non-judgmental, and so that you can share what's going on in your life. Because I think we learn so much in our relationships. We need to be able to go back and forth. We need to have mirrors. We need to have conversations so that we can learn about our experience and how other is perceiving us and how we're showing up. And so if you can, and some people don't have that, but if you can, identify those people who are safe and who are going to create a space where you can just talk about your experience or about what's going on since the experience. A lot of the time we need to speak out loud, we need to think out loud so that we can make connections. So if that is available to you, definitely do that. And then the bonus one I'll add is just spend time in nature if you can. Like, nature is so essential in terms of just connecting to that sort of primordial or timeless wisdom and experience that I think we talked about earlier, of just like, you are nature. You often will feel that in a psychedelic experience. That's where you come from. That's what you're connected to. And we forget that and we are disconnected from it. And so being in it and immersed in it as much as you can be, as much as your life allows, that's important. I think an essential component. Again, I lived in New York City for 3.5 years. I know it's not always the easiest thing to do. So yeah, it could be meditating on a flower if you want, but just spending time with nature in some way.
Absolutely.